Welcome to SVGTV News for Thursday, February 28, 2019. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. A person's ability to read is linked to his or her ability to be more independent, and in this regard, the Zero Hunger Trust Fund is doing its part to ensure more of the nation's children are able to read proficiently. Today, the Zero Hunger Trust Fund began a two-day workshop for teachers as part of its Learning Enhancement and Nutrition program. The teachers participating in the workshop are examining areas such as dics, dialects and accents, letters, sounds, and the alphabet code to help sharpen their skills for the classroom. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the workshop, Chief Executive Officer of the Zero Hunger Trust Fund, Laura Anthony Brown, said children who are unable to read face a bleak future and efforts must be made to help them improve in this area.
Now one may ask the question, so what has the eradication of hunger, what does it have to do with a teacher training workshop and a learning enhancement and nutrition support program? And I want to suggest that it has everything to do with it. A child who is unable to read is destined to a life without hope. A child who is unable to read does not have much opportunity to get a good education and or to learn a skill or to develop a profession. That child is destined, if they are unable to read, to become dependent on someone else or on the state to provide all of their basic necessities in life. The benefits of being able to read, to communicate effectively, to improve one's critical thinking ability, simply to give oneself the opportunity to advance in life, these benefits are glaring.
Brown said based on the success of the program, which seeks to ensure the nutritional needs of children are met, its sponsor Dubai Cares has provided additional funding to help improve the reading skills of children nationwide.
So we designed a program, as you see there, called Learning Enhancement and Nutrition Support Program. So learning enhancement, that's why we were able to recruit 12 teachers from the Zero Hunger Trust Fund, paid for by the Dubai Cares organization. And we have placed you in our schools because we want our children to be excellent readers. We want them to go through the system performing excellently. So we are doing everything, all of this really is to ensure that at the end of the day, as people say, that our children are able to come through a primary education system with excellence to complete, we hope, a secondary education system with excellence, and and then tertiary education by extension in whatever field they are going to, so that they can be able to be proud supporters of themselves and their family. We can say at the end of the day that these children, not one of them, would be in a situation where they are vulnerable to hunger.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Michael Burke, said he is pleased with the progress that the Zero Hunger Trust Fund has made over the last 3 years and that he expects it to touch many lives across SVG in the years to come.
Rapid computer repairs training. All the trainees, 17 under the first batch of the COM-TIA A+, have completed training and apprenticeship. The final apprentice should complete at the end of February. There was also the massive education employment program and also cosmetology. 13 students are currently completing CPQs in this program. So we need to give them a round of applause. Just 3 years old. So by the time Zero Hunger Trust Fund is an adult, what can we expect of it? What we can expect is what we contribute, our time, our efforts, our loyalty. I looked and I saw remarks, but I like to emphasize brief. So I'm going to be brief and say thank you for your attention. Thank you to your congratulations.
The ongoing election petitions case has so far established that changes need to be made to the country's electoral system. That's according to Sir James Mitchell, as he shared his opinion on the matter in an interview on Tuesday on Boom FM. The former Prime Minister said the petitioner's legal team was able to highlight deficiencies in the system which he believes should continue to be highlighted and addressed.
I am delighted that the matter went to court. I think everybody appreciates that because it established with great clarity the irregularities in our election system. That is the issue that we should not allow to die. We have already established that. That is politically important. To me, that is the most important political point, rather than saying you're going to appeal if you lose. That's my point of view. Hammer away at the point that you have already succeeded in getting, that you have established irregularities. And you can take it from there in all parts of the campaign.
Speaking on the issue of term limits, Sir James said this would be difficult to achieve as persons are happy to re-elect a government they believe is doing good, pointed out Grenada as a prime example. He added that the Westminster model also makes term limits difficult.
But the question of term limits is related to motions of no confidence and the structure that we have. When you have a presidential system, it is very easy to introduce term limits of 2 terms. I do not agree with the one-term position that existed in certain Latin American countries. For the simple reason, there's so much invested in an election that one-term limit stimulates corruption. Because the people who back you want the results before you leave. Right. So we have to put all of those things in consideration when you're considering term limits, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. It's a great idea to have change, but we must also give government time to execute its program.
The SVG Port Authority today donated a number of items to the Salvation Army as a way of giving back to the society. It was the initiative of staff and associates at the port, such as the sports club and prayer group, who came together to pool their monies and other items. Roxanne Westfield, one of the leaders of the prayer group, spoke on the importance of giving back to society.
Well, to present to the Salvation Army items such as clothing, foodstuff, and monetary gifts. We see it fit to give back to the Salvation Army simply because they are an institution who give back to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the form of feeding the poor and the needy, clothing and such like. So we decide to bless them with some of what God would have blessed us with. As the Bible says, according to Luke 6 verse 38, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down together and running over. So I just would like to, it is a great effort, and we hope that other organizations in and around St. Vincent would follow the same principle.
Head of the Salvation Army, Major Antoine, said the Salvation Army welcomes another donation from the Port Authority.
The Salvation Army, I would like to extend sincere thanks to the group for donating the stuff to the Salvation Army, because the Salvation Army has been in operation here for approximately 170 years, and then where we have a feeding program, children, and we have many activities where the Salvation Army feed approximately 160 persons daily between adults and children. So once again, we are thankful to receive the donation today.
The Complete Caribbean Partnership Facility, CCPF, and the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc., CED, will next week roll out a cluster development training program for business support organizations that is expected to lead to the certification of intentions as cluster facilitators later this year. CED said the program is part of the CCPF project being delivered in 7 Caribbean countries to build the capacity to promote and develop clusters as tools for economic development. Under this program, 3 one-week workshops will be delivered in March, April, and May by the Cluster Competitiveness Group, a consulting firm specialized in capacity building on cluster-based methods for enhanced competitiveness and innovation. The 3 weeks of training in St. Vincent are scheduled to take place at Hotel Alexandria in Prospect. The other countries where the CCPF project is being implemented are Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, and St. Lucia. In 2017, CED successfully applied for a grant under this program to facilitate capacity building within the Organization for Business Cluster Development. Tenants at the Russell Shopping Center at Stony Ground said there is 2 sides to the story of the police officer who was seen using force on a civilian in a video captured on the compound and has been making its rounds on social media. SVGTV News understands that the police officer was stationed at the Russell Shopping Center upon the request of the management following the airing of a story we carried in January about the concerns of tenants who complain of loitering and unruly behavior by persons, including school children, after school is out, which they claim have affected their business operation. Larissa Pugsley-Kidd tells us more in this report.
Tenants at the Russell's Shopping Center said given what they have been dealing with over the last few months, they were pleased that management requested and was provided with the presence of a police officer to ensure their businesses were secure and to bring some of the disorderly behavior exhibited by some persons, including school children, under control. On Wednesday, things escalated and a video has been making its rounds on social media showing a police officer hitting a civilian with a baton just outside the premises of the shopping center. When we visited the shopping center today, some of the tenants said they are afraid of speaking on camera for fear of victimization by unknown persons in the area. However, those who we spoke with off camera were adamant that the video circulating on social media does not reflect what transpired from the inception. One eyewitness who spoke off camera recounted what she saw, while another who spoke on camera but did not witness the incident said there are 2 sides to the story.
What I saw happen is far from what I saw on the video that's circulating right now. That the video is just a part of what happened. First of all, the police approached the young man and told him that he cannot stand up here. So he should move down into the parking lot. Then is when he refused, and then is when he and the officer get into a squabble. He slapped the police officer with his phone. And then his other friends who was down there was cheering him on and say, oh, look, he slapped the police with the phone, and the police is weak and whatever. The scuffle you see between both of them started from in the corner over there, come over here. That is when they started to videotape when the officer hit him. But he hit the officer first. The officer, he's a police officer, yes, and he should practice some restraint or whatever you might want to say. But he's human too. And if somebody will slap me with their phone, I will want to hit back. And that is what happened yesterday. He slapped the police with the phone and the police hit him back.
From what I'm hearing now on the radio and stuff like that, it seemed like everybody's saying that the police did something wrong. But the police didn't do anything wrong from what I have. And sometimes when we say these things, we need to get the full story and see what is happening first. The police react to what happened, and the police have to protect themselves as well. So sometimes we need to get to the bottom of this story before we say something about the story.
The eyewitness who spoke off camera said that it was the officer's 4th arrest for the day.
Yesterday, people will normally park their vehicle here and they go to work. When they come back, the tires are down. These school children come in the evening and they air down people tire also. The officer saw them yesterday airing down someone's vehicle and had to carry them down to the station. We need more than one officer, and the officer, if you notice, the officer does not have any weapon. The officers need protection. They come up here without protection, and they have weapons. They come with knives, they have other things they're walking with.
Tenants we spoke with on and off camera said the police officer is a humble and peaceful person.
Very friendly. Since he's been up here, very, very, very friendly to us. He's just protecting more on a friendly side, you know, move from here. For instance, last week, there was a school child, a student was wrong there, smoking. Then the officer approached him. He said, "What are you doing there? You smoking?" Well, he said, "Yes." And the officer said, "Do you know that it's illegal for you to smoke up here?" And he just took away the weed and sent him off the compound. He did not make an arrest then. He did not scuffle him up. He did not do anything because the youngster was kind enough to say, "Well, oh, yes, I'm smoking," and he knew it was wrong. But this one yesterday, he provoked the police. He actually provoked the police into what happened. And then when it happened now, we parents will say, "Oh, the officers are wicked and the this and the that," but then officers are human too.
In late January, SVG-TV News aired a story of tenants complaining of loitering and unruly behavior in the area by some persons, including school children. However, the tenants say even with security, not much has changed since.
Continue the same, the children them still coming on the compound, and they had several incidents after the story was aired. Since that time, we had several fighting here in the compound. And the police them came, they do what they could do, but some of the children them, they are not listening to the police. They are not respecting the police officers them, and that is the big issue up here. I don't know what can be done, but something needs to be done, because it is saying that somebody will eventually get hurt and get hurt worse. And it's getting scary in the afternoon, because in the afternoon, the idea now is whether or not we should keep our business open when school break after 3, 4 o'clock, because of what is happening on the compound. And to close the business at 3 o'clock, that means you're going to lose income. And you have to protect yourself, because you don't know who is who.
Reporting for SVGTV News, Larissa Pogsley-Kidd.
In relation to the incident involving the police officer and the civilian, a news release from the Police Public Relations and Complaints Department said they are aware of the video that is being circulated on social media and that the matter is currently under investigation. The police are asking anyone who has information relating to the incident to visit the Public Relations and Complaints Office or the Office of the Commissioner of Police. Recognizing the need to further improve its communication strategy and build capacity among members of the organization, the Public Relations and Complaints Office of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force will host a 2-day communications workshop for police officers next week. The workshop, which commences on Tuesday, March 5th at the Fisheries Conference Room, will be held under the theme New Perspectives Towards Greater Relations, reinforcing effective communications as a force for change. The facilitators will be veteran media practitioner and former manager of the National Broadcasting Corporation, Carlita Oliver, and Inspector of Police Hawkins Nanton. Over 70 officers, including the Gazetted Officers Corps and rank and file officers, will be trained in the following areas: community, customer relations, neighborhood watch programs, relations with the media, and stereotypes in communication, the police image of the job, and social media, friend or foe. An official opening ceremony will take place on Tuesday morning, commencing at 9. Commissioner of Police Colin John is expected to deliver remarks, while Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, will deliver the keynote address.